Hello and welcome to a Build-A-Bear bonus stream. That's right, it's Tuesday. Time to do something that's not model kit building. First and foremost, I'm throwing the Bear Cave leg of the site, the Tier 2 blue emote in chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi or use other people's emotes. Or if you feel like being a lurker, well, you can just go ahead and lurk. That's also okay. It's Tuesday, as I said, the night where I do something besides model kit building. It's often gaming. Next week, not gaming. Next week is the winter wrap up / spring preview for anime. So that's next Tuesday. But tonight, it's Hearthstone. A new expansion came out literally today. It is also the start of the new Hearthstone year. Where some packs, some expansions go into the vault. They become just wild. They're not part of standard anymore. So there was a rotation. A bunch of cards leading up to that were changed. Sometimes some were reverted back to previous, some modified greatly. We'll talk about a couple of those that come up. And it's also the 10th anniversary of Hearthstone this year, which I have been playing for, I want to say 7, maybe 8. I definitely did not start Hearthstone when it came out. As we wait for people to arrive, and coming in before we start looking at some of the decks that I have for y'all tonight, I will say that, so for me, Hearthstone wasn't a thing that I was planning to get into. I like card games. I like deck builders. I'm a fan of that. I like in real life card games. I like digital card games. I'm into it. I played a bunch of them. I played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh in my day. But hadn't really played any for a long time. And hey, Lord Crashington, welcome. I liked Warcraft. I played Warcraft 1 through 3. I played World of Warcraft for quite a long time. And so it was like, oh, some Hearthstone stuff, and in a card game. Jesse says I'm playing Yu-Gi-Oh right now. Heck yeah! Oh, that's awesome. Also, hi Jesse. I'm gonna drink a little water here for a second. But yeah, I didn't immediately pick it up. Right? I was like, I don't know, card game, whatever. I think that's fun, but I think I'm gonna pass on it. And then, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's true, the algorithm got me. The YouTube algorithm was like, hey, you should watch this video about Hearthstone. And I was like, no. And then like a couple weeks later, they're like, hey, you should watch this video about Hearthstone. This guy does fun, silly things with this deck. And I'm like, I do like fun, silly things in card games. Okay, I'll watch this video. Fine. You got me, YouTube. And I watched it and I was like, I don't know what these cards. Okay, oh, Battle Cry. So Battle Cry is when the card gets played. Okay, Death Rattle is after the card dies. That makes sense. Okay. Oh, Echo. I don't know. This is probably pre-Echo. Whatever. I was like, okay, Hero Power, Mana Cost. Ooh, that's a reference to Hearthstone. Of course, the whole thing is references to Warcraft. Okay. Oh, yeah. All right, and then it's been my daily game pretty much ever since. Occasionally usually I miss days because I'm like traveling or on vacation or like PAX or something. But I do tend to play every day, at the very least to finish my daily quests. And I've completed my dailies and my weeklies today. But let's just go ahead and get into the game, or get the game loaded here. Also, I am using, I have to update actually. It looks like Deck Tracker needs an update. Sorry, everybody. I updated Deck Tracker earlier, but apparently it wants another update. It makes sense. New things coming out. They're figuring things out. So I use Deck Tracker from HS Replay. It is an overlay, which we will see. But it looks like they just put out a fix there because a couple of the cards were weird, and they have to kind of figure that stuff out. They do usually a good job of updating consistently, and they get a heads up on a lot of stuff. But they are not affiliated officially with Hearthstone. So I use HS Replay. I think Firestone is the other one I want to say that people really like, but I've been just using HS Replay. It collects really good data. I can take a look at my wins, losses. It tracks versions of a deck. So if I switch a card out and put a new card in, it is a new version of that deck, which is nice. So it kind of resets. So I lose the statistics of my previous decks, but then I'm not being like, oh, this deck has a win rate of 80% for me. That's not true if I've changed the cards. So let's go to game. Here we are. We're going to get some gaming. Now, we're currently at... oh, yeah. So here's my, hey, you should buy stuff. You should unlock bonuses in the reward tracks by getting the Tavern Pass. To which I say, no, not this time. Sometimes, yes. But yeah, if we go to the Tavern Pass here, you can see I completed my dailies. I did want to just quickly say, we're currently at 47 out of 50 subscribers. I shut up about 50 at 50. Just going to say that's going to live there because it doesn't really make sense to put it over me. But yeah, I finished my daily, finished my weeklies, get some gold. Pat, you can't even see that, which is actually the best place for it. Let's see. You say, Pat, you have 2,000 gold. Why don't you buy some packs? That's 20 packs of cards you could buy with that gold. And the reason is the mini sets. There is a mini set expansion now. They added this a couple years ago, and you can buy it. You can buy the mini set, and you get all the cards, or you can use the in-game currency of gold. For 2,000 gold, you can just get it for that. So I always keep a balance of 2,000 gold so that I always have enough for the mini set. And even though, I'm going to get more gold over time, I never want to be a deficit. I always want to be at 2,000 gold so I can always get the mini set, even if I start losing all my games and I get busy or whatever. I just keep that. Hey, Pat, you have 2,000 gold. Yes, Lord Crescent is saying what I said there. But every so often when I have 400, 500 gold on top of that, well, then it's time. Also, I always seem to have 95 gold or 45 gold. I don't know how that happened where I got a weird number. I don't know how that happened, but I never have an even number. I always have either 45 or 95 gold, and I don't know how that happened, but it did at some point. Anyway, we should look at the decks that we got here, because it's, as I said, new expansion, new season. Let's look at... I don't have every card in the game, because that would be silly. I am a free-to-play account. I have put money into this game. Usually, I have bought the Tavern Pass, which allows you to get bonuses, and you go through the pass faster. You get some extra cards. I don't do it every time. It's not worth it every time. I didn't do it this time. So down here we have my decks that are for quest progress, because they're quests that are draw 30 cards, and so I have a draw deck, or use your hero power 20 times or 50 times. I have those too. Usually there's also something that has to do with the season, so there'll be a new one where it's play 3 minimized cards or 5 minimized cards or something like that, and I'll make a deck just to do that. But these are pretty standard. You see them every season, so I keep those. I have 2 standard decks. These are cards that are only in this season, a year's worth of Hearthstone, and then I have a bunch of wild decks. My decks fall into 2 categories. Scam decks that work and scam decks that don't really work. Let's look at Standard Grom. This is a standard deck. I'm playing this here in standard against other standard players. What does this deck do? Well, this deck is a combo deck. It's not combo. It's an OTK deck. And I have to have 11 mana. The maximum is 10. But with Audio Amplifier, you set your hand size to 11 instead of 10. And you set your maximum mana to 11. So I can get 11 mana. Or I have to play cards that reduce the cost of spells for the combo. And then I can play it on turn 10. Let me see if I can find the one there. Reduce the cost of 2 spells in your hand by 1. So I can do that. I can reduce the cost of the spell. So what's the actual combo, Pat? What does this deck do? You need, in your hand, for this deck to work, Grommash. You need Grommash. And Grommash is charge. So charge, you can just attack face when you play it. You can go face when you play it instead of having to wait a turn. And then it has +6 damage when damaged. So right now it says 6 attack, I should say. So it's a 4/9. You do any damage to it, it becomes a 10/9. Wild, or well, whatever health it is. Wild, right? So you want this in your hand. You also want Battle Worm Faceless in your hand. You win 2 copies of Battle Worm Faceless, transform into a copy of a damaged minion. And suddenly, you have 30 attack. You have 3 cards, each do 10 face damage. But you're saying to yourself, well, Pat, even if you reduce, like, even with 11 mana, that's too much, because it's 8, and that's too much mana. It's 14 mana. You can't do that. Well, what you want to play is Chemical Spill. Summon the highest cost minion from your deck and then deal 5 damage to it. So you play Chemical Spill for 5, and then you spend 6 on 2 Battle Worm Faceless, and you go face and you take care of it. And then if you don't have 11 mana, because you didn't draw that, then you have to reduce. And if you can't do either of those things, you lose. Pat, how do you get to 10 or 11 mana? That's so many turns of this game. Well, you play cards that draw so you can get the cards you need, and also gain armor. And you gain a ton of armor, and then sometimes you use that armor to do damage to the board. And you just hope that you win that way. Is this a good deck? No. But when you win, it's awesome. That's one of the decks we'll see tonight. Here's my standard big deck. This is a variation of a deck I've previously used. It is not done because some of these cards, some of the best cards for this deck don't work anymore because they've now moved to Wild. The point of this deck is to get Kangor. I have not played Hearthstone in almost 10 years. Hell yeah, Jatsu. So here's Kangor, Dancing King. Lifesteal, Death Rattle. Any damage you do, you get health back. That's what Lifesteal does. Death Rattle. Swap this with a minion from your hand and give it Lifesteal. You may notice I have big ticket minions. I have big old minions that do big things that also will heal me. And I swap them with Kangor. And there's a card I have called Dance Floor that can give Kangor Rush. And so this whole deck, you need Kangor. So when you get Kangor and you can play Kangor, it whips ass. When you don't get Kangor, this deck sucks. There are other ways to get Kangor. There is Lead Dancer, which should pull Kangor out of your deck. If it doesn't pull Kangor, it pulls a Noyatron, or Noya Troop, I should say, which is just a good card just to stall. You also have Pipsy Painthoof, who is just a lovely art for Pipsy. Pipsy will summon a random Divine Shield, Rush, and Taunt minions from your deck, so you can pull cards out of your deck that way. That's another little bit of a cheat. That does not get you Kangor, but that gets you other cards that can let you live. Thunderbringer can pull out some cards from your deck. So I have backups, and then Tyre's Tears resurrects 3 minions from your class, or you can resurrect 4 minions if you forge it, which is to spend 2 mana on it. So you can get, at one point, you can get 2 Kangors. You can have a Kangor in your hand and a Kangor in there, and you get this infinite Kangor loop. So when this deck works, it's very, very good. You can also buff those big minions, and we got a little bit of lifesteal here, so you can do some attacks, get a little bit of health back, and then also buff your big minions to be even bigger, which you don't really want to buff your Kangor because you want it to die. But if you gotta, you gotta. And also, Amethyst can pull minions from your deck, which is great. It also can slow down the board there. So this deck does some good stuff. This deck does some shit, and it's pretty great. And we got a new thing called Miniaturize. And this 10 costs 6/7. 6/7. Not great stats for the mana cost, right? But if you cheat it out, a 6/7 that at the end of the turn summons another 6/7 that attacks a random enemy, which could be face or a minion, that rules. And if you play it, if you actually get to 10 mana, and you play that, then you get a tiny 1/1 that does the same thing. So that's great. So those are our new decks. Then we have some old decks that I have modified, and we will get into a game. I want to tell you about because the smoke. We'll talk about that when we play it. Big Old Shaman. Big Old Shaman is very similar to standard Big Paladin, although Big Old Shaman, I have spells that force minions from my hand onto the deck. That's so similar. But let's start with the combo that doesn't work. That doesn't work all the time. Let's start with Grom. We're gonna get into it because I've been talking too long. We're gonna play some standard here. So we're gonna play standard Grom. Currently it's silver 4. We'll see. So as I said, it's got a lot of control pieces to keep me alive in the game. Hopefully this is going to work out. Sometimes I play these decks until I win and I move on to the next deck on a stream like this. Sometimes, if I'm feeling good, we'll just keep going. But we'll see. You can see I'm using HS Replay, so I've got my deck here, so I can keep track of cards. Trial by Fire. None of these cards are what I need here, right? None of these cards are part of the combo, so we are to hard mulligan all 3. I would maybe think about keeping Hammer if I had 1 combo piece or 2 combo pieces. Maybe I would keep Hammer because Hammer will start us gaining some armor, which would be nice. Okay, Sanitize, we can always forge. This card is if you armor changes, you gain 2 more. This is a card that we need for our combo, so we have 1 combo piece. We need 3 other cards for our combo. So, and then we need to affect the combo. We need like 4 cards. But we can just add, okay, we top decked another card for our combo. So that's great. We are going to save this card because if your armor changes during this turn, you draw 2 cards. So we're going to hold on to this till later. But we are going to gain 5 armor and we're going to draw a card. This card will help us draw more cards and get armor. So we're going to play that totem probably next turn. And then turn 4 will hero power and do that. Okay. So our opponent isn't doing anything. We don't have to react to anything. All right. We do want this spell to cost 4, and we wouldn't mind this costing 4. So instead of drawing, we are going to play this card. When this card dies, these 2 spells will go down by 1. And we kind of want to do this sooner than later because I have a lot of spells, and I want this card to get the cost reduction. If they clear this minion, which they didn't, they played a secret. When they clear this minion, I would like to have less cards. I would like to make sure that I am guaranteeing this spell. So let's draw, and we're hoping that we don't draw spells that we... Okay. So it died. We took some damage. That's okay. We're hoping that eventually... the battle cry went off. That's all I care about. We're hoping eventually this card dies. Like soon. That would be great. And we also got this. I didn't even talk about Character Artist. I love Character Artist. I can't wait to tell you about this card as we play it probably next turn. Okay. What are you gonna do? You got a 4-2. You got a 4-2. Okay, so that sucks. This is not a spell, so our costs will go down. So let's reduce our costs. We now need 1 card for our combo, and we can do it on turn 10 because now this costs 4, which is great. What do we do in this turn? Do that. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can afford to draw. Let's get some armor and draw. So, if I had not top decked Gromish Hellscream, what I was planning to do was to play Character Artist, which draws a minion that costs 5 or more. This costs 5 or more. It's the only card in our deck that's a minion that costs 5 or more. it gets a big mustache. The card gets the mustache, not Grom's face. The card at the middle gets a big mustache. And then when we copy it with Faceless, they would also have a mustache. And I would have liked you to have seen that, but whatever. So we need to survive to turn 10 right now. Hopefully we can find the other Faceless, which we do need to complete the combo. We'll see if we can do that. We don't really have much draw left, so we do need to start playing some things. And if we can play a spell here, then we can discover, maybe we can discover the card we need. All right, let's just play this to get a card out of our hands. And this isn't going to help us, but we can do that. 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, all right. As long as we're not, because we are going to draw, we're going to go to 9. Next turn, we're going to have 10 cards. But if this could be cheaper, I don't care if it doesn't have to be cheaper. If it is cheaper, if we could do this combo in turn 9, that would be even better. But we do have 3 spells, so, or we have 4 spells, so it's not necessarily likely. Hey, what's up, Lashbrook? Our opponent is definitely a combo deck, I gotta say. I'm not sure what our opponent is yet, because I haven't, it's new meta. It's a new day, right? Meta hasn't been figured out yet. So I'm not 100% sure what our opponent is trying to do with their deck. All right. Okay, so reduce the cost of fire spell. Do we have any fire spells in our hand that this would be good for? We do. We can make that cheaper. We can, let's see. Let's play this card here. We have made this cheap. That. Then we can play this card here, which I forgot what it did, and I played the wrong card. It's okay. I fucked up. If you cast a spell while holding this, discover a card from your deck, I fucked up. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We are going to burn a card because we have 10 cards in our hand because our opponent has not killed this. We could fuck this all up. If we top deck Faceless, we burn Faceless, which obviously would suck. I shouldn't have played this. I should have played this, and I didn't. I fucked up. All right, so our opponent just has a bunch of different spells. My assumption is they're trying to play a bunch of different spells from different class or spell types and then repeat all of them. That's my guess. I don't know for sure. We do need to test for counter spell. Oh, wait, yeah, we do counter. Okay, we burned something I don't care about. Great. Excellent. This kind of needs to die at some point. Let's see. We do need to test for counter spell at some point. Let's just do this. That was a good test. We didn't get. We're going to draw a card. We need to play one more card. So let's play this, which gives us armor. We didn't really draw. We'll do that. And then, okay, what is this? Okay, Ice Barrier. Ice Barrier is fine. It's not fine, because you may remember that we need to do 30 damage. Our top is 30, so we need to get this down below that. But we do have a weapon, and we burned one weapon, but we do have the other weapon, so we just kind of have to go face and hope they don't heal above it. Oh, they got a fucking taunt in the way, though. Well, we can kill that. Summon each other minion you've played this game that did not start in your deck. Great. They haven't done anything like that yet, so we're good. Okay, we have the combo. So there's two things. One, we have a taunt in the way. So even though we have the mana to do it right now, because we have 9 mana, we can't go face because of the taunt in the way. We also should point out we do have enough damage because we could swing the weapon. We could do 32 damage, but we have a taunt in the way. So we have to actually literally wait till next turn to do this. So we're going to do that. We're going to kill that. We're going to play this. We're going to draw another thing. So we're going to do this even though this doesn't do anything. Just to get out of our hands. So if our opponent plays a minion that we can kill with these two cards, or a taunt, we win. If they don't play a taunt, we win. If they don't heal over and go over 30 plus this 3 plus this 3, we win. We might win in a silly way. What's this do at the end? Oh, okay, yeah. All right, so that's dead. That's fine. They didn't heal. They didn't put a taunt down. They didn't heal. They didn't put a taunt down. And they didn't play a secret that would fuck this up, or could fuck this up. Okay. I think we win. Okay, and they also didn't concede. They also could have conceded. So, summon the highest cost minion in our hand. Great. Do damage to it. Great. Copy it. Copy it. Swing face. We had 3 more damage anyway. We're 1 over. That's what the deck does. Our opponent, I don't know exactly what our opponent was playing, but we won because they didn't do much. I'm surprised I won the first game of the night with this deck. Again, this deck is not good. I would say, if you were like, Pat, give me that deck code. I mean, I will. If someone wants the deck code, I will give you this deck code. It's not good. Standard Grom, not a good deck. Grom with a face, it ain't a good deck. We also play as Pirate Grom because I think that's very funny. So like there's 4 Groms. Not a good deck. Let's move over to Standard Big, which is, yesterday I would tell you that Standard Big is a pretty good deck for Standard because especially it has a lot of control elements. It keeps the board. It's got a good mid-range deck to it and a lot of removal, which is great. It hasn't lost any of the removal. It lost some of the better big cards, and I've replaced it with cards that I'm not sure are better. So, we want Kangor. We need Kangor with this deck. Lead Dancer has a 1 in 3 chance of putting Kangor on the board, and the other 2 are Annoya Troop, which would be fine on the board. So we're keeping a Lead Dancer, and we are going to keep Uther's Gift because we can play that on turn 1. And we got Dance Floor, which means that we can use Coin because we're going second. So on turn 5, we can have Lead Dancer run into something and hopefully die to bring out a 1 in 3 chance of the exact card we want. And the other 2 cards are also good. Actually, I'm sorry, 4 cards. We could pull out Peacekeeper, which would be great. That would be fine. I forgot that's a 1 health or 2 health or 2 attack. So 1 in 4. Maybe, honestly, Annoya Troop. Maybe I should take Annoya Troop out of this and replace it with something else. Because now that I have Lead Dancer, or Lead Dancer, but it's probably Lead Dancer. That's new. This is a new card, brand new card, and it's new to me playing it. Or it's new-ish. Maybe it came out last expansion. I can't remember. All right, so we are going to take a Consecration in case our opponent is Zoo. Our opponent probably has a lot of undead minions, and they want those undead minions to die because they want corpses that they can use to buff minions, probably. So killing minions probably isn't necessarily the best, but it would be nice. Wait, what happened? Why don't I have this in the hand? Right? I played that, right? Oh, fuck. That's what this card does. Reading the card explains the card. It's a temporary Consecration, Blessing of Kings, or Equality. It says temporary, and I didn't read that. I haven't used Uther's Gift before. It's temporary. You don't play that on turn 1, Pat. It doesn't add it to your hand. it gives you a temporary. It's a mid-range solution card because it gives you a quality or consecration or blessed gains. Fuck. Okay, so we're all learning here. So I'm going to play this. Now we have to survive to turn 5. We'll now have a harder time because I fucked up. But on turn 5, we can coin Lead Dancer. We can hit this button, which will give Lead Dancer and any other minions I have rush. We'll rush it into that. I really did fuck that up. But we have... Hopefully, we're going to pull some other things that can give us some board presence. We do also have turn 4, Painter's Virtue, which would be nice to go in there. So our opponent is going to put bullshit in our deck. That when they draw, they do bullshit, and it sucks. I don't like any card that fucks with your opponent's deck. I want to fuck with my deck, positive, not fuck with my opponent's deck, negative. It's just not my style. I don't like decks that draw and try to reduce your cards and have you burn cards. I don't like that. I don't like decks that fill your your opponent's deck with bullshit. I just don't enjoy it. So our opponent is timing out. If we win this because of the, oh no, here we go. There they are. All right, they just took forever. Okay, cool. This is where concentration would have been great. We didn't get that. We got Judge Unworthy, which we could use here. Next turn we don't. We were gonna play one of these. We could run them. We're just gonna hero power pass. We're not doing anything here. And you're like, Pat, you're going to take so much damage. And you're right. But we'll get a little bit back with Painter's Virtue. And the whole point of the deck is to play Kangor and get some big heals going. And we've got a 1 in 4 chance of pulling that out because I should modify this deck and take out Annoyatron. I got to take out the Annoyatroop. Because Lead Dancer, I want it to be like a 1 in 2 for Lead Dancer. So I gotta fix that. All right, so we can. I mean, this is just clean. What does this do? Oh yeah, okay, yeah. This is just clean. We're gonna just clear the board. We're not gonna play that. We're not gonna get lifesteal this turn. Now we have 2 cards in our deck that do bullshit to us. We have 2 plagues in our deck. I don't love that. Blood Plague and Unholy Plague. Not a big fan of that. But next turn, if our opponent plays a minion, we can next turn coin Lead Dancer, Dance Floor, and if the minion has more than 2 health or 2 or more health, then we can get this going. But yeah, I gotta edit this deck. Annoyatroop is a nice, annoying card, but it is not right for this deck anymore. Sad, but it's not right for it. Okay, so our opponent didn't put a minion down. They're just doing face damage and executing. So, excavating, I should say, and executing. We did get that. Oh, that does... Wait, I forgot. Okay, good. So, our opponent, when they excavate, they get one of these cards. So, that's fine. We can coin. We can play this. We have a 1 in 4 chance for the card we really want. And all the other cards are also good and would be fine. So, let's see what we get. We got the card we wanted, everybody. It's Kangor. Give it up for Kangor, Dancing King. Kangor is going to pull Thunderbringer or Amplified Elk out of our hand when it dies. And then we'll have a 6/12 taunt, which does 3 damage to enemy minions when it dies. Or a 6/6 taunt that summons an elemental and our beast. This is a beast, so we could get the other one out of our deck. We also could get one of our elementals in there. Our elemental, Ragnaros, the Fire Lord. So, and also, it will get lifesteal. Like, this has lifesteal. So, it swaps. And then, we do have this card to resurrect one of our Kangors. Great. Our opponent gets a rune card, and we get one of these 2 cards. Hell yeah, we got Thunderbringer. We got Thunderbringer, y'all. Oh, great, cool. Well, Thunder. Okay, so Thunderbringer is now hurt, which sucks. This will summon a random Divine Shield, Rush, and Taunt minion from your deck. When it dies, we can play that later. But what we are going to do is we are going to play Kangor. The cycle continues. You should always be playing Kangor, because now it'll pull one of these out of our hand, and then we repeat the process, and we just go. God, a 7-cost 4/4 sucks so much, except it does a cool thing. We have a lot of good Divine Shields and Taunts, and we don't have any Rush minions in our deck, so we limit it to this. Anoia Troop has Divine Shield and Taunt, so it kind of pairs well with Pipsy, but we do have other Taunts, and also Tyrion, or Tyrion, I should say. Tyrion also has Divine Shield and Taunt. And I wish our opponent played a little bit faster because we are on stream. This is not the worst behavior that our opponent is just roping. Now, they may have quit. They might be taking a long time. They may be attempting to stream snipe. I don't think they're stream sniper. I think they're just, maybe they're on mobile and they're just taking a while. Okay, so now you're doing damage to that. I didn't get to heal. I am certainly hurt, but I'll do better. And it's so good. I'm gonna do 8 damage to your fucking face. We're gonna do so much goddamn damage this turn. We're gonna do this so that we guarantee we're doing 8 to your face, and we already did 2 to your face. We're gonna hit you with that. We're gonna hit you with that. We're also gonna get some life steal. We're also gonna heal, and now all our minions are bigger, so when you kill this, it brings in a big friend. And we'll end our turn. And then we're gonna do 8 to your face. We did so much damage that turn. Again, this is the deck working as intended. It doesn't always work as intended. And we are going to go in and edit it a little bit, because Anoia Troop has got to go, unfortunately. Because I want Lead Dancer to pull something I need. Okay, great. You did 3 damage. Now we have a 4/7 with Lifesteal and Divine Shield. And if you can't kill this, I just win. I mean, I win many ways.
We only need one.
Okay. That's not enough. I'm trying not to be an asshole with that. That is not enough. I'm just reading it as we go. All right, you got some coin. You got a coin here. You got a coin here. What else you do? Okay. You have finally defeated Ragnaros. I still have all that damage, and then they concede. That's fine. So again, we are now 2-0 on the stream, and we're getting some bonus star hearts here. Hell yeah! Moving up in the world. We got the silver in standard. Shows you how much I play standard these days. Yeah, that deck shouldn't work that well. That should have been way more frustrating than it was, which is fine. But we're gonna edit it. You're gonna watch me edit it live. So, we need a high cost minion that we want to pull. Reminder: this is because we want Lead Dancer. It's probably not Lead Dancer. It's probably Lead Dancer. We want Lead Dancer to pull either our Titan, because that Titan does great work, and that's just great to have. Or we want it to pull, because it's going to summon a minion on your deck with less attack than this minion. So that's 3 or less. So it's going to pull that. It's going to pull one of those two. And it's going to pull, what we definitely want is Kangor. So Kangor, we definitely want. Our Titan, the Peacekeeper, we could get, because our Peacekeeper does, a bunch of cool shit. So we like that. We can't have it be a Noatron anymore. A Noatron's tough because it's nice to bring back with Tears. It does have Taunt and Divine Shield. But we have a bunch of taunt, so we are going to say goodbye to that. And again, that is a shame. So we're going to look at standard cards only. And we are going to look at expensive cards, cost 7 or more mana. We don't have much dust that we can use to make cards right now because I spent some dust. So we can hit the crafting button to see if there are any cards that we don't have in Paladin that cost 7 or more, and standard neutral cards. We don't. There are a couple. Cost 1 turn. If you turn a row, play. Okay, we don't need that. That's fine. That we don't need. That doesn't really help. That. Yeah. That's not a bad card. Tony, I got rid of. That's not the worst thing in the world. Shuffle 4, 8 cost giants in your deck that are summoned when drawn. That's neat. We don't really have the money for that. All right, so let's get okay. We don't need craft anything. So, what do we want? We want big, troublesome minions that would be annoying to play for the cost that they're at. We got rid of Annoy Troop. Living Horizon. That's a 4/6. That ain't great. It does have Taunt. It does Divine Shield. It costs 1 less for each other card in your hand. So that would be... Look, this is not the worst, right? It's not necessarily great to cheat out, but if we do have a full hand, it will cost less, so we could maybe play it in the mid game. It's not the worst thing in the world. It does have a Divine Shield and Taunt, so Pipsy could pull it out. It's not... It ain't great, is what I'm saying. This is a possibility. Let's go over to neutral cards. We want something like we definitely want Taunt. We don't mind Death Rattle because we're just trying to survive, right? We're just trying to play cards that when you get cheated survive. And they also the attack has to be 4 or more. So containment unit, we do have some mechs. Containment unit isn't a bad shout. When it dies, you get a random 8-cost minion. In standard, there are some pretty good 8-cost minions. This ain't bad. I don't hate containment unit. It also costs 7, which is like, almost mid-range. So maybe that's okay. Therazine. I like... It doubles the stats of all elementals in your hand and deck. We have... How many elementals do we have? We have Thunderbringer... And we have Ragnaros. So that's not great because we don't have a lot of elementals. So that actually isn't that good. So maybe we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. And we don't want to do that. Rush isn't bad. A 3/10 isn't the worst thing in the world. It's not the best. Let's see. Well, a big dragon with Taunt. I don't hate that. Sleepy Dragon. It's a 6/12. We already have 2 6/12s with Taunt. We have a card that pulls Taunts. Sleepy Dragon ain't bad. It might be Sleepy Dragon. We don't want this Titan. We don't want Yogg-Saron. Yogg-Saron is great. We don't want that. And these are just big giants that are cheaper sometimes to pull. Okay, so Sleepy Dragon it seems strong. Living Horizon seems strong. It is only a 4/6, but it's got the trade-off where it's got Divine Shield. I'm gonna be putting in Sleepy Dragon because it is a 6/12 with Taunt. I like that. It's a big friend. It would be great to pull that out. It would be great to pull that out of your hands. It would be great to have that get pulled by Pipsy. Because it does summon a random Divine Shield, Rush, and Taunt. So it can... We don't have a Rush minion. So theoretically, Pipsy would want us to have a Rush minion because then we pull some Divine Shields and some Taunts. But... I think that's fine. I think it's fine not to have that. We have plenty of taunts here to pull out. We have a few divine shields. We don't need a rush. I wish I had a rush minion. I just don't have it. I'm probably going to put Pipsy in a wild deck because there's a couple rush minions that would be great for that. So those are 2 decks here. We've played 2 games so far. I'm trying to give you the whole experience here. All right, now that we've seen standard, let's get wild. We have a bullshit deck. We are going to lose instantly with this deck. This deck's, like I said, I have decks that are bullshit and sometimes do well, and decks that are bullshit and are bad. Switch is a bad deck. This is a bad deck. This is a scam bad deck. It's not good. What do we want to do? We want to play Switcheroo, which draws 2 minions and swaps their health, which will give us the only 2 minions we have in our deck. We have the Darkness, which is 20/20, start dormant, battle cry, shuffle 3 cards in your enemy's deck. When they draw this, this awakens. A terrible goof card that nobody likes, but it has 20 health. So when you switch 20 health onto a 1-cost Stone Tusk Boar, that becomes a 120. And then you use Divine Shield to make it a 140. And then you use either Inner Fire or Topsy Turvy to make it a 41. And then you go face. And you can win by turn 5. Let's see. And you're like, well, Pat, what do you mean by turn 5? This is a 5-cost minion. Well, because we also have Illuminate. And Illuminate has been buffed. Dredge, which means look at the bottom 3 cards of your deck. If it's a spell and you choose a spell, you reduce its cost by 3. So if we Illuminate and we find Switcheroo costs 5. Also, we have some cards that reduce the cost of spells in your hands. We can find the cards we need. This deck sucks because there's an issue with this deck. You may have noticed it. If you draw the Darkness or Stone Tusk Boar before you play Switcheroo, there is no win condition. We even have a Shard of the Naru to get around taunt. We even have 2 Wild Nightmares to make multiple copies of our in case they have more than 40 health because they're a warrior. Because sometimes they have 40 health. But if we draw one of 2 cards, our deck doesn't fucking work. Which is why I say it's bullshit and bad. And it's why, as I show you this bullshit deck that sucks, we're going to casual. This is an unranked game. We will be paired with someone who is also playing a wild deck. And we are going to play casual. It is not ladder. It is for people who are trying to figure out decks or people that are just looking to get some easy wins. But it increases the chance that we're playing someone who needs to survive to turn 10 or something. Because if they play... This deck is all draw. This deck has almost no healing outside of the hero power. It has almost no board control. We're playing a warrior, which is already terrible because we can only do 40 damage. Okay, so we have 2 of the cards that we would like and a card that can help us draw. We are now... Okay, great. We're going to discover a spell from our deck. Not a copy of a spell. We're going to discover a spell from our deck. Great. And we got Vivid Nightmare. Cool. So, we have so many spells in our deck. We are hoping that the bottom of this deck has Illuminate. Or Illuminate. We pull either Switcheroo or Illuminate. Try it again. None of the cards that we want. None of these cards are what we want. We're going to pick this because at least now we're going to have a 0-cost silence to get through taunts. But again, we really wanted to pull Switcheroo there, so Switcheroo costs 3, and we could play it on turn 3 to reduce the chance that we're going to pull one of our 2. Because we concede. If we pull one of our 2 minions, we concede because there's no way to win otherwise. So we pulled that. We knew we pulled that. We're going to discover. We pulled Switcheroo. We could have pulled the other Illuminate, but we know what 2 of the bottom cards on our deck are. So it doesn't make sense for us to play it doesn't make sense for us to play Illuminate unless the other Switcheroo is a new bottom card. Now we know on turn 5 we can play Switcheroo. We're good. Now we just need to not draw the Darkness or Stone Tusk Boar before turn 5, and also we still need to draw a Divine Spirit. We don't have a Divine Spirit. We do have Vivid Nightmare, so we can always use Vivid Nightmare if we have to, but we need to really double it because we can use Vivid Nightmare instead, but it's just better to do the other way. We do have Topsy Turvy. Does cost 0. That's great. Luckily, our opponent. Also, we have to make sure our opponent. Oh, we got the other Illuminate. We don't have anything else to play this turn other than healing ourselves, so we'll play Illuminate. What did we draw? That's not going to help us much. We can get out of damage rain and draw a card. They haven't played a minion. We'll do Gift of Naru, and we'll just heal ourselves. So far, our opponent hasn't done anything, which is good, I guess. Now we just have to survive 2 more turns without drawing one of our minions. Okay, now they are almost out of range here. They are now at 40. And so now we are going to definitely have to use Vivid Nightmare as well, because we have to now go over 40. We have nothing to do this turn, so we're just going to heal ourselves. We didn't need to heal and pass. And this next turn, we can get the combo, most of the combo, if and only if we don't draw one of the 2 cards we don't want. All right, so they're now outside of 40. We now have to do more than 40 damage. They're drawing cards. They did play a minion, which is great. So we can't wait and reduce cost. We can do that later. We are going to play Switcheroo here. We did the thing we need to do. Next turn, we can do 40 damage. But we can only do 40 damage, and they have 42 health. So we need to top deck. We also need a top deck. Wait. Okay, no. All right. We didn't save that. Okay, now they have a taunt, but we can silence that taunt. And they did some damage, and that's okay. There are other ways out. Power Word Shield wouldn't give us enough. Inner Fire does not help us. Okay. What can we pull out of this? Silence to destroy minions. Give a minion reborn. Choose an enemy minion at the end of your turn. Gain control of it. None of these help us. This kind of helps us because it would help us stall, I guess. So I guess we're taking that. We're now saving here. We could have played this first, which would have let us draw a card, so I fucked up. I should have done this before I healed, because now I'm going to get out of that range. But next turn I can draw for free, because they're going to do a bunch of damage to us. We're still hopefully safe. We have to do 44 damage. We can silence. We can get through taunts. We can also take control of their taunt, which is pretty cool. Now they can do even more damage. This is not great. All right, so we have outs. We do have Hysteria. Hysteria will clear their board. Let's heal ourselves and draw. We got Divine Shield. Okay, we got Divine Shield. So first we have to. Do we have enough mana? I am not even going to count. I'm going to say we do. Silence. Fuck off. Charge minion. Double its health. Swap its health. Make a copy of it. Win. I'm 3-0 tonight, everybody. That wasn't casual, but I am 3-0. That deck fucking sucks. You can also tell I don't play. I really don't play a lot of Priest. That deck sucks. I shouldn't have won. Our opponent just wasn't getting good draw, I guess. Or the other thing I can think of is our opponent was a control deck, but I wasn't doing anything, so they couldn't control my board because I wasn't playing minions for them to control. I think that might have been a mid-range control deck, and they just weren't getting their armor gain they needed. They did get up to 44 health with armor, so that is impressive, but that's my guess. So now let's move on to a classic with a couple new cards. Look, they want the smoke, but they're going to get the smoke. Sorry, so I think here. Okay. They want the smoke. They're getting the smoke. We're playing the smoke. I've played this before on this stream. Quick explanation of what this does, what this deck wants to do. We want to play Swift Scale Trickster. We want to make the next spell we play cost 0. So we can spend 0 mana on an 8 mana card and play Smokescreen, which draws 5 cards, and any death rattles they trigger. And all our deck is almost exclusively fucking cool-ass death rattles. Big-ass death rattles, small-ass death rattles, mid-range death rattles. A death rattle that will make a copy of a minion, which will be a death rattle minion. We also have Anka the Buried, which will change all our minions in our hand that are death rattles to 1/1s that cost 1, so that we can get rid of our very expensive big hand by playing a bunch of death rattles that do cool shit. We have the new cards. This deck only has 2 new cards. It's the same card twice, called Clearance Promoter. Reduce the cost of 2 spells in your hand by 1. That way we can play Smokescreen on turn 7 instead of playing it on turn 8 in case we didn't get Trickster. It also will make our Door of Shadows free, which would be nice. Door of Shadows draws a spell so we can get Smokescreen. Also, Clearance Promoter is a card we can just play if our hand is getting fucking full. We can just play it. We can play Clearance Promoter even if we don't really have spells because we have the other spell cheat. How does this deck not work, Pat? That deck seems cool as hell. When does that deck not work? Well, if you don't draw Trickster, it doesn't fucking work. And if you don't draw a spell or the card that gets you a spell, Trickster is useless. And if you also don't draw Anka, you just have a big hand where your cheapest minion is probably a 3-drop that isn't going to get you anything or any discounts because you don't have that spell in your hand, or one of your 6-drops, which do cool things. So we have Door of Shadows. Door of Shadows will get us either another Door of Shadows or we'll get a Smokescreen, so we'll keep that. And then we're hard mulliganing because we are looking for Trickster, which we got. We can also we can play this on turn 3, which reduces our hand. We'll play this on turn 1. We hope we get Smokescreen. If we don't get Smokescreen on turn 1, we'll play it on turn 2, which will guarantee we get Smokescreen because Door of Shadows can pull the other Door of Shadows. It thins our deck that way. This is best case scenario. We are guaranteed by the time we need it to draw Smokescreen. We will reduce the cost of Smokescreen, which we don't really need to do, but it also means that we get a card out of our hand because we are going to fill our fucking hand really fast with big minions. We could also save this and play it after the turn after we play Trickster, which we might do. Because one of the downside, quote unquote, of playing our opponent has to fucking play the game. Please, we have a good hand. Please play, Flax Squid. Flax Squid, please play. Okay, all right. Okay, we drew smoke screen. We're good. There is a thought that maybe we would save this because turn 5, there's only one 5-cost card we have. We have one 3-cost card. We have a Door Shadow, so we could fill our hand and then not have anything to play, and then we would lose out. But it kind of doesn't matter because we're drawing 5 cards, and all our cards are good. So I might just play this on turn 3. Also, our opponent might not be there. It looks like they're not there, and I hope they come back. I don't mind winning. No, okay, they're not there. Okay, great. So we just won. We got to play this back. I'm undefeated. I'm 4-0 tonight. We take those. I'm only annoyed because I had a hand that can do the thing the deck wants to do. That's the only reason I'm annoyed, but we're 4-0 tonight. I am not keeping a tally. I'm keeping a mental tally. I'm not writing this down. But I am keeping track of it. Ooh. Sorry, this is unrelated to Hearthstone. One of the new trainees in a wrestling promotion I like is just openly telling people that she is married, and that is rare. She is from Australia and not part of the system, and not older, but like older. It's not old, but she's in her 20s. But she is married and has a child. I guess because she's married, or she has a child, that's why they're saying that. Yeah. Her older sister and brother-in-law are pro wrestlers. That's cool. Ooh, her older sister married a wrestler and is a wrestler, and she's a wrestler. I love that. I love Kira. Good on you, Kira. Kira's a mom. That's awesome. That's wild. If you don't know, a lot of Japanese wrestling fucking whips ass, but some of the parts that are when are we gonna? Do we get disconnected? What's going on here? Yeah, we did. Okay. One of the things that sucks about women's wrestling is the belief that you have to be attainable. It's the idol thing. So some women don't get married until they're done with their wrestling career, or they hide it and they keep it secret because of bullshit, gross bullshit. Also, so many women who are wrestlers are gay. Come on. There's so many queer wrestlers. What are we even talking about here? But they still have to keep this secret. So the fact that it's probably because she's Australian. This is a bad hand. We don't want any of these. I mean, we'll deal with a 6-drop, either of these 6-drops. We would deal with that. This Mass Reveler is cool, except when it pulls a Trickster or Anka. I've pulled so many 2/2 Ankas. It's not a death rattle. It doesn't do anything. Oh, we got Anka the Buried. Okay. So we are going with our alternative win condition. Our alternative win condition is that on turn 4, we will play a coin and play a 5-cost 5/5 that will change all of these minions and more into death rattles that are 1/1s. We can win that way. Will we win that way? I don't fucking know. Okay, Lime Drake, I'm going to need you to play I'm going to need you to play the game. I can't. I mean, I will be 5/5. Right? Are we 5/5? Wait. I've lost track. How many games did we play tonight? I have genuinely lost track. But right now we are undefeated tonight. But that's also because I want to say I've only played one game of each of those decks. I won on the first game, and then this is the second one, so this would be the 4th deck, so this would be game 5. I want to say we're 4-0. But I want to play Hearthstone. Like, I'll lose. I lose all the time. I lost a bunch this afternoon. I'll lose. There are days where I do not win, where I play hours and hours of this game and I don't win. And we're now 5-0 for this session, for this stream, with 2 opponent lefts. We're unbeatable. We're unstoppable. We're at 5-0. Maybe I have to switch back to standard. I want to show this deck do the thing. I had an opportunity here in these 2 games to show what the deck does and the alternate condition for the deck. Also, I've got Rivendare. Rivendare is my, like, Hail Mary, scaring people away like the Undertaker. Yeah. Oh, you know what it is? I bet I know what this is. Okay. It didn't occur to me, friends. Pirate Rogue is back, and people are conceding because they don't want to play against Rogue. I think that's what it is. All right, so we're going to do what the deck does. Our opponent now has 40 health and more. We have the backup strat as well. We're sitting great. This is best case scenario. The only thing better is if we pulled a promoter so that we could have a smaller hand, but we do have Anka on turn 5. So Pirate Rogue, people hate, and they added, they put in a bunch of new pirate cards. So Pirate Rogue on standard is very good, and Pirate Rogue on wild is also very good. So that's my guess, is that we ran into some opponents that were just like, I don't want to fucking fight a pirate tonight, and so they just conceded instead. All right, so we did not draw promoter, which is fine. Next turn, we are playing Trickster into Smokescreen, and we will draw. And then in turn 5, we will play Anka the Buried to turn all of the cards we drew into 1/1s. We will then minimize our hand, waiting until turn 8 to play Smokescreen. We also might make that Smokescreen cheaper because we may pull a promoter. So we're going to minimize our hand on turn 5, get rid of cards on turn 6, and then later we are going to play a bunch of shit. All right, so we get a 2/2. A taunt 2/2. Great. We are reducing the cost of that Smokescreen. We're getting 8 health armor. Trickster does not help us. That's fine. We get a 4/9. This was not the best pull ever because we pulled a 4/4 or a 4-cost minion. So that's not the best. We could have done better. This was a mid. We are going to do some damage later. We do have a taunt to get in their way. And we don't have any healing, so this 4/9 doesn't really do anything. 4, 6. We are going to okay. We weren't going to do that. We did burn a card. We could play this and reduce the cost of this even more because it'll go revert cost. But that doesn't matter. We're going to play Ankh the Buried. We are going to get rid of this. We're not going to take the damage on it. I'm not going to take 5 damage. We also need our board to be a little smaller because now I can play a bunch of these cards and reduce cards from my hand. I can run this in and get a new 2/2. All right. That's fine. Do 2 damage. Take that. You get 2 to your face. Get some rush minions. You can go and kill the 4/4. Great. Please make my board smaller. That's great. All right, we are going to play a bunch of cards. We're going to make our deck smaller. We're going to play this 1/1, which will give us 8 armor. We are going to actually make that a 2/2 now with Magnetize to give us more room. We are going to run this into you. We're going to reduce the cost of this to make it even cheaper, which we don't really need to do, but we were trying to minimize our hand. And let's play that as well. And then we'll go face, and we aren't going to get rid of that. We could run that in and get a 2/2, but that's fine. Okay, great. Please do that. Make room for my next turn. Hell yeah. Oh, this is beautiful. We're going to draw a minion. We have so many minions that cost so much, and we're going to make it so much cheaper. We could overtrade here, but I don't think we need to because we're going to play this and that and that. We don't really need to overtrade here. I kind of want to overtrade. Yeah, we're going to overtrade. Because we're going to make room. Because I need room on the board, and I need room in my hands. This costs 0. We can play this if we have room there. Hell yeah. Yeah. We overtrade. Ooh, that's a low. That's an 8 drop that doesn't really do anything. So, when this deck does what it needs to do, it's very fun. It's a scam deck. Like I said, this one's a scammer. And when it doesn't do what it needs to do, it's got a backup. Like the Anka can just be a backup. The Masked Reveler can be a backup. You can just get yourself playing as you can play. Or yeah, our opponent just has no answer to that. You can play a smokescreen and just have like our opponent cleared our board. We played a card. They cleared our board. We played a card. Like when this deck works, it's a good deck. And I know some people were like, I remember people when I started playing this deck were like, there's nothing there, Pat. No, there is. You want the smoke, you get the smoke. We are undefeated. We're 6-0 tonight. Okay, we've got a couple more nonsense decks to look at. Let's look at this is another deck that's like good. This one's good. It's called Big Old Shaman because we're playing Shaman and we're going to pull in some big old cards. We got a bunch of good big cards. We got a new card, Factory Assemble Bot. We got Scrapyard Colossus. We got Yogg Saron. We got a Titan that does a bunch of cool shit. We got Walking Mountain, which is a 4/6 that has Mega Wind Fury, so we can attack 4 times, and it heals, and it has Rush. What the fuck, Walking Mountain? It does do Overload too, but we're going to cheat it out. We got Muck Morpher, which is going to make a 4/4 copy of any other card. So it doesn't do the Muck Morpher, but it's going to make a 4/4 of any of our big minions. We've got Ancestor's Call, which pulls one of our big minions into the deck, or onto the field from our hands. We've got Eureka, which summons a copy of one of our big minions from our hands. We've got Gavel, which is going to make Muck Morpher cheaper, so we can cheat that out. We've got Devolve, Embracing Cold. We've got Scalding Geyser to dredge to find the cards we need. We got Reincarnate, which went to 1. It used to be 2. Now it's 1, which is great. We got Farsight to draw and to reduce costs, so maybe we can cheat out some of our big minions that way. If we pull Golgamesh and we didn't use a spell to do it, our first spell costs 3 less, and so we can cheat that out too. When Big Old Shaman works, it whips ass. It's a great time. It's a great scam deck. When it doesn't work, it's a big bummer. I am writing 6-0. I'm keeping track in chat because I don't have a document open and I don't want to tab out to go find a document. So I'm just going to write it in chat so I can look at it. This chat's pretty laid back tonight. Viewership a little low. It's understandable. I get it. So, we have Gavel. We want to keep Gavel. We have Eureka, which we can play on turn 5. We do have a minion, but I wouldn't mind having some other minions. Okay. Ancestor's Call. We now need a minion. But we have Geyser to get a minion. And we have Farsight to get a minion. Ancestor's Call is just a better Eureka, in my opinion, because you also disrupt because they have battle cries that does disrupt things. Walking Mountain is what we want. Great. So turn 2, we can clear the board a bit. We don't have a battle cry. When we swing it, it's okay. We can do face damage. All right. So our opponent is a beast deck. Great. Next turn, we are going to coin Ancestor's Call, and we are going to run this Walking Mountain into a beast. We are going to keep this weapon. We are not going to swing because we don't need to swing. Also, if our opponent does damage to us, we have Walking Mountain to take care of it. All right, so they have big minions. Now, we do run the risk that our opponent is playing giant beasts and that we're going to run our 416 into it several times. We are running a risk here. We do have Devolve. That isn't going to help us here. We are running a risk that we are about to bring a big friend onto the board, a big enemy, I should say. But we're going to take that risk because it's funny. This is the funniest way possible to do this here. There's a 6/6. What did this 6/6 used to do? Charge. Battle cry. Return all minions with less attack than this to the owner's decks. Wow, that sucks. That would do it for this. Let's just do it like this. We healed up. We didn't take that much damage. I don't want to take 12 damage on Walking Mountain. We have now fucked up our opponent's plans a bit. We don't know if that was reduced if they had reduced it. If they had reduced that, oh, they did. We can see that. King Plush, they spent their turns making that King Plush cheaper, and then we ruined it. So we definitely, oh, well, never mind. Well, they got that. So they can go face with that, and they can put this, oh, that's a battle cry. That's the battle cry. Okay. So we have Devolve. We could risk it. We could do the smart play or the risky play. The risky play is to play Farsight, because if we don't play Farsight, then we have to trade this in twice, and it kills it. We can devolve it to something that's smaller than a 6/6 because it's a 9 cost. It might be bigger than a 6/6. It's not totally the right play either. We're doing devolve. It was an 8/8, so we fucked up. It's worse. I should have not done devolve. I should have just done Farsight and seen what we got. We should have pulled from there. We are now healing. We are now losing that. So we are now not in a great position. I made the wrong call on this. We could be facing our first loss here, because our opponent has a fun deck with like cool shit in it. And we're a scam deck. So next turn, we can get a 10/10 on the board, or whatever we just pulled here. A Muck Morpher. Great. Muck Morpher will pull anything that's not a Muck Morpher. Some of these cards would be very good for us to pull. Several of these cards would be very good for us to pull. What do we pull? Titan. Okay. So this is not the best because it's just a 4/4. It doesn't reduce the cost. We don't have any mana. So our best bet is to deal 3 damage to all enemies and restore friendly. Okay, so we're gonna clear this off the board. We didn't clear this. Our opponent can just trade. Our 4/4 Titan is gonna die. It's okay. It's all right. We might even pull the Titan the next time because Yogg-Saron, or Yasiraj, I should say, not Yogg-Saron. Yasiraj, Rage Unbound, is gonna pull something. And there's only one card in our deck that it would suck for Yasiraj to pull. There's only one card. And that is the other Muck Morpher. So hopefully it doesn't pull that. Our opponent is drawing a lot, and they're going to clear that, and that makes sense. They're just going to do that. Okay, so they didn't get anything they wanted to play there. That's better for us. Okay, we pulled a... Okay, so now we're either going to get a copy of this or a copy of that. Either is great. Here we go. We got a 10/10 that is going to pull a minion from our deck. Again, we have one minion I would prefer not to pull. We didn't pull that. We pulled the other Walking Mountain. Great. Now we have a 4/16 with Mega Wind Fury that heals us and a 10/10. And our opponent has to deal with both of them because both of them are bad. And we have right now a 50-50 chance to pull another 10/10 next turn because you know we're playing Eureka next turn. We got to play Eureka next turn. And both of those options are great. The only reason we wouldn't play Eureka is if we top deck Muck Morpher, because then we'll play Muck Morpher. Because I don't want to just pull a 4/4 on the board. I want the Battle Cry to go off. And now our opponent is either doing a lot of math or they rage quit. They didn't hit concede, which is what you would do if you are set with an unwinnable position. They didn't do that either. an option that you would have. Okay, so we're going 1 and 3. All of these are good. Let's see what we're going to pull before we figure out our attack pattern. But yeah, if I'm going to lose and they have lethal, I'll let them win. If not, I will just concede. I'll let them play them out. Okay, we got our 10-10 again. It's like we don't have any other minions in our hand. We're now going to pull 2 minions in our deck. We're definitely going to pull the Muck Morpher. That's okay. We're going to do this because I want some healing here because this is clean. This is very clean. I don't care if one of these is damaged. We're now at 30. They're at 15. We have... oh, God. Yeah, okay. We didn't even pull our Muck Morpher. We still haven't played this card, but we didn't even pull our Muck Morpher. No, you can't do that. You got to do that. Yeah, sorry. You got to do that. Oh, our opponent's going to have us win. That's fun. Oh, they conceded. They conceded. That's fine. We didn't even get to play one of our new cards. This deck only has like no, it only has 2 new cards. We didn't play either of them. We're 7-0 now. Let's see. What do we want to do? Do we want to play one more card with this? We have Calling. I mean, I guess we need to go with the streak, and we need to play Calling. I'll tell you what Calling does. Calling, this could be our first loss, because Calling cannot work. There is a good world in which this doesn't work, because it has 40 cards in the deck. Why does it have 40 cards in the deck? Because I want so much draw. There's just so much draw in this deck. Okay, what does this do? You want a big old hand, a full hand. You want to play. You want to cheat out. Goldshire Knoll, rush card, costs 1 less for each other card in your hand. You want to play that? You got a 10 cost minion, or you get a 12 cost minion, Mountain Giant, because it costs less for each in your other in your hand. You want to play one of those 2, and then you're going to play in the same turn Conjurer's Calling, which destroys a minion and summons 2 minions, the same cost to replace it. Because you're cheating those out. You are playing a 10 cost early or a 12 cost early. You have some backups. Corridor Creeper is a 7 cost, but it costs 1 less. But the mana cost is the card, not how much you played it for, how much it costs. And so we have ways to make our hand bigger, so those are cheaper. We have ways to draw your spells. We don't have any ways to cheat out these minions into your hand from your deck. So that's where the... hey, welcome, Shanks. Shanks Kitsune and friends, welcome. Playing some games here, playing Hearthstone on a Tuesday. I'm talking about this deck that I'm playing here. It's called Calling because we're going to do Conjurer's Calling to make big minions that we cheated onto the board cheap into bigger minions. We have Khadgar, which will, if you know, we're gonna summon 2 minions, 2 random minions, but that way we summon doubles of them. Ooh, that's so nice. We get a copy of our spell, so we get extra chances to have Conjurer's Calling in the hand. Also increases the hand size. Audio Amplifier makes our deck bigger and gives us more mana. Aqua Archivist makes our elementals cost less. So even though we're playing a card, it actually works out better because it will make Mountain Giant cost less later. We have a bunch of cards that give us more things in our hand, makes our hand bigger. We also start with 40 health, so theoretically we will last a little longer. For those that just came in from the raid, we're playing Hearthstone. A new expansion came out today, Whizbang's Workshop. I have been playing decks here for an hour and a half. I am undefeated. I have only played 7 games, and 2 of those games, people conceded. I think because I was playing Rogue, and they didn't want to play against Pirate Rogue. I wasn't Pirate Rogue, but I think they thought I was. So, used to play a lot of Hearthstone, but it's been a long time. I hear you. It's the 10th anniversary. This game has existed for a very long time. It is we're probably never going to see anything new. I think Duels was the last. I mean, Duels and Mercenaries were the last of the we're trying something. Okay. Oh, we do have one cheat. I forgot. We have a new card. We have draw a minion that costs 5 or more. Give it a funny mustache. We have character artist, which we don't need because we have Goldshire Rush. So we are our Goldshire Null. We are going to hard mulligan because we want Conjurer's Calling or one of the 4 cards that will pull Conjurer's Calling from our deck. We got one of them. Great. We then later can also make a duplicate. It's random, so we don't know what we're going to get, but it could give us more. All right, so we're playing against someone. Oh, God, we're playing Seek Guides. All right, so this is hopefully going to be a slow deck because our opponent has to have good draw. Oh, we also have Mantle Shaper, which I don't think is a good card. It's in this deck. I could see myself getting rid of this at any time. So we know what our turn 2 is, which is this, which is going to give us more cards in our hands, so we can reduce the cost of this. We are going to play this on turn 3, and then we have a coin. We could weave in Sphere at some point. This basically, it shows you what your top deck is, and you can be like, I don't want that card, and push to the bottom. And you can do that up to 4 times. And if it's a card you do want, you can just accept that card. We are now increasing our hand size. We are trying to get this down so we can play Knoll and our spell card in the same turn, which you don't have yet, but we're getting right now. This would give us coin if we want to play that. We don't want to play that. We want to play this. And we're just going to go face because we want our opponent to mess with us. So, next turn, we can just do the combo. We don't even need the coin next turn. We can just play Knoll. We can run Knoll into somebody. And then we can play Conjurer's Calling and make a bigger Knoll. A nice big Knoll. Or 2 copies of whatever. And there'll be 10 drops. And there are a couple bad 10 drops, but there are a lot of good 10 drops. Okay. So, normally, because our opponent played this, we're kind of stuck here. Because we would normally run a 5/4 into one of these and reduce them. But we can't because they would die, and that would defeat the purpose. So we don't use the coin. We're going to use the coin later. We don't need the coin. We're just going to make 2. Okay. This is some healing. It's going to take stuff for them to defeat it. It's going to use up resources. This is going to give us a 6-drop. It could be a good 6-drop. It's a pretty good 6-drop. It's a 6/4. We're going to... it had a battle cry that would have summoned. It's a dead battle cry because we are dead death rattle. It's a useless death rattle, I should say. Not a dead. Because the battle cry is discover some stuff, but we can't. So... it just kind of dies. That's fine. So our opponent is going to take the route of just doing some damage. Okay. All right. It didn't. Our opponent could have killed this 6/6 instead of the other 6/4 because the 6/4 doesn't matter. Our opponent screwed that up. They could have cleared our board. They didn't, which means that we now get to, of course... do this. And now we have a 7/7, which behind the 7/7 is a 7/7. And we are going to we're going to search. We are now looking for our other Conjurer's Calling because we don't have it. So let's keep our hand full. Let's end it there. We could have coined and used our hero power. It's okay. We've got a decent board. I would love to pull the other Conjurer's Calling out of our deck. We could pull it. We could pull 3 cards that will pull it. Okay. All right. Now they have a 7/7 with a 7/7 behind it. We don't love that. This is not the card we want. We want to draw another card here. This is not the card we want. We can play this, which pulls a big minion out of our deck. It now has a mustache. Unfortunately, the minion doesn't have a mustache. The card has a mustache. It's still pretty good. So this is none of the things that we want. We can at least clear this We can at least minimize this so when we do get Conjurer's Calling, we can play that. This was not a great turn for us, but it was an okay turn for us. This was not the minion I wanted to be pulled. I wanted to be Knoll or Mountain Giant. This is okay because it is going to reduce its cost a lot. And we don't have to worry about hand size for that to work. So it's not the end of the world. Will we break our streak? Okay. A lot of healing there. Got rid of the 7/7. Our biggest minion is gone. We don't have any follow-up here. We don't want that. Again, we are hunting for... This is not it either. Let's take the coin, I guess. Let's take a random card from our hand. Get another one of those. That's that's nothing. Let's use one coin. Let's just get a 5/5. Let's get a 5/5 on the board. We're going to try to do some pressure. I'm not going to put this out here, the 2/5, because the 2/5 is not much pressure, and it's obviously way better if we pull the other Conjurer's Calling. There are 3 cards in our deck that will pull a spell card and the spell card itself. So there are 4 cards we definitely want. Okay. Our opponent just can heal. Obviously, it's a priest. Of course it can heal, but not really doing a lot of good work on this, though. So we're doing great there. Has not had the 6-drop. Okay, we don't want that. We got the other version of the card. We did not want Mailbox Dancer. I don't need coins. I guess we'll just do this for pressure. We'll do this to get a coin. I don't love this. I think I just want to do this. This. We'll do this. Kind of keep our hand full a little bit. We got some coins. It's not great right now. We're not doing great. We're surviving. Our opponent hasn't been able to do all the things they want to do, which is nice. They need to play a 6-drop in order to work on their quests, their multi-part quests. Oh, they found a 6-drop. Okay, of course they did. Not great for us. We can run the 5/2 into it, which wouldn't be the end of the world, because we can do that and use the hero power or use Ram. We would just use hero power for that. Okay, they have the coin that we did give them to forge. Okay, not the best in the world for us. Okay, this does not help us. That does not help us. Wow. 4 turns where we were like, no, not the card that we don't want. How about this card? Oh, not that card either? Great. So now we're getting rid of our 5/2, which would have been something. We have very little pressure on the board. I probably could have played Nobleman instead to maybe give us another creeper. I don't hate that. I do like its mustache. Ugh. Ugh. God. God. Okay, at least that one, I mean, it's got Divine Shield, but it sucks. Okay, here. Well, this card doesn't help us. We can now do 6 damage with these. We can do 7 damage. We don't have any taunts. Maybe I should have taken the taunt, but I didn't want to take the taunt. We can play an 8/8. All right, I'm going to use some of our health here. I'm just going to... And by use some of our health, I mean I am going to, understand that I have the resource of my health, which means I can take some damage. That's what I'm saying by that. Because our opponent is going to swing their weapon. You would say I should not have any minions on the board for our opponent to use their weapon in, because they're going to get a bunch of fucking 8 drops. But they're already going to clear the board. We're going to take 10 damage, probably. They're going to get... Oh, God. Great. Cool. So now we have to kill that as fast as possible. Woof. We're going to get our first loss of the night. And it's going to be to my, like, pretty okay deck. Because when this deck cooks, it cooks. And it has a lot of ways to cook to get to where you want to be. It's just the biggest downside of it is it's got 40 cards because it's very greedy. I could probably make a 30-card version of this deck that would honestly probably work better. But our opponent, we let our opponent do the thing that they want to do. Blackjack, our opponent, got to do the thing. And we did the thing. It's just we didn't have any follow-up. So we have nothing. We have no draw here. We can't even get a coin. We can just play a couple minions. We're just going to concede. Unfortunately, we're going to concede there because we have to get rid of that 6/8. This is just going to get bigger. They have 2 more swings of that. They had lethal next turn. We are now 7-1. The streak has been broken. We're 7-1. I'm writing it in chat so I know. And then somebody who I can't remember who they are came online. I think this is somebody I played Warcraft with back in the day. Or a duder. I can't remember who that is. But they're online. All right, so we suffered our first loss. Let's run back calling one more time. Let's see if we can get one win with all of my favorite decks. We got a switcheroo win. That shouldn't have happened. That's because we played it in casual. If we had played it in ladder like we are here, we would not have won. I am going to seriously consider a 30-card version of this deck because there are definitely cuts to make. Like we don't really need Aqua Archivist. It's nice to have. We don't want any of these cards because none of these cards are our combo. So we got to get rid of that. I'm leaning back here. Okay. Caricature artist will get another card that we want. We have Corridor Creeper, which we can make by playing minions. We can make that cheaper. We can play Nobleman later. This card could fucking go. Mantle Shaper can definitely go if I'm going to make a lesser version of this. Yeah, if I'm going to make a lesser version of this, I can definitely let that go. All right, we'll play this to increase our hand size. We are probably playing this on turn 4. We are probably playing this on turn 3. So that we have a little board presence here. This gives us a coin. It will give our opponent a coin. Here's the thing. Druids can just make mana appear. They just make mana happen, so we don't really, it doesn't really matter if we give them the coin, but we'll just make a copy of something here. Great. We got another Corridor Creeper. If our opponent starts getting rid of our minions, it will reduce the cost. We do not have our spell, and we do not have one of the 4 cards that will get us a spell. Yeah, see, our opponent now has 5 mana, though 6 mana next turn. Okay, so we can draw this to thin our deck out a little bit, get a card we need. We can play this so when we do draw a spell, we get 2 copies. That isn't going to help us much. Let's play this. Great. Okay, yeah, we definitely got to get rid of this. I do love that we have the mustache. We can play it with the mustache because we can always play this next turn. Just to give us a 5/5, we might have to do that. Yeah, I do really like Caricature, but if we don't have anything to do with it, it doesn't matter. What does this do? Summon a random 3 cost. Okay. Let's just get rid of this. That way we're at least getting Corridor Creeper down here. We got a 3/4. Yeah, we're just reducing the... We're doing this to reduce the cost. Now our Corridor Creeper costs 0. And we'll play that so we have a little pressure on the board. It'll give us more cards. Because we can always do that if we top deck Conjurer's Calling or one of the cards we need for that. Jesus Christ. Oh, God. It's this deck? So our opponent is playing an older deck. Like I didn't even realize this. They have not played any new cards. Our opponent is just playing Garruk is just playing like a mid-range beast druid, like ramp. Like, that's just boring. Our opponent is just playing a boring ass deck. And I unfortunately don't have any answers to it. I could play one of these just to have some. I'm just going to make some board presence. Turn 8, these will cost more. I should probably get rid of that. I really should. I don't have a... I use my mana, so I don't have the ability to do that. Yeah, all right. I should have killed this. This thing only takes 1 damage at a time. Yeah, Lord Crashin, it's not like a classic deck, but it is an older deck. They're not playing new cards. Now, my deck only has 2 new cards, but a lot of those cards are fairly new. So, yeah, I fucked that up. I should have killed this thing. I'm a little tilted by the realization of what my opponent is playing. Yeah, another teacher's pet. Of course you have that. I just can't. For the life of me, can't draw a spell. I just can't draw Conjurer's Calling or the 4 cards that I have that will call that, or that will get that. So yeah, we're gonna deck doctor this. We're gonna play our taunts. We're gonna kill this thing. We should have killed this thing sooner, way sooner. It's gonna take, this won't kill that. So we'll see if we can survive one more turn. We can, if we get it and we get an elemental, we can make our elemental cost less with this, but costs 2 less. Okay, now that is even more big. Now it's only going to do 1. I don't know how we're getting through that. Poison. We need to make a minion that has poison and hit it with poison. Finally. Jesus. Okay. Now we get 2 of those at least. Great. So 7 drop. What are you giving us? What's okay? Taunt does that. Okay, that's something. It's something. So, this is only gonna take 1 damage at a time. So even though this does 3, we're gonna do this here. We'll hit that. It's gonna bring a new minion, which shuffles things in their decks. Doesn't make a sense for us to play that. This is gonna die. These are going to take damage. This is not going to pop. Of course, you had Survival of the Fittest. Of course, you had Survival of the Fittest. Take that damage. Don't die. We take 20 damage. Oh, you're okay. You're going to draw. You're not even going to hit me for 20. I don't know how we get through this 11-8. Okay, we got the other Conjuring. Okay, so we can play this. We got to play the one with the mustache. The card has the mustache. At least we got to see that. Let's hit that. Okay. That's something. It's taunts. We could... Yeah, I think we'll do this. Because that... Yeah, probably not better, but it's something. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The thing is, we could destroy a minion and get a minion. We could get a minion that suddenly changes the whole thing. Of course, they had the other Survival of the Fittest. Jesus fucking Christ. So our opponent's deck did what it's supposed to do. Ours really didn't. Because we never drew our Knoll or our Mountain Giant, because that's what we really want. And then our opponent just drew everything they wanted to draw and just completely whipped our ass. And is also now just like misplaying. Just misplaying. Our opponent is just goofing around, I guess. I think waiting for us to concede, which we should concede. And we're just not. We could have gotten rid of that instead of that, but like, what's the real point? Yeah, let's just concede. We're now 7-2. This is the worst deck. This deck ruined it. It ruined our record. 7-2. Okay, so now we get to Deck Doctor. Why not? Let's just Deck Doctor. We'll play like probably one more game with this after that, or one with that. Let's Deck Doctor. Let's make a 30 card version of this deck. So we take Calling, and we're going to copy it. Then we're going to hit Done. We're going to hit New Deck. It'll say, do you want to use the deck code? I will say yes. It will pull this. It'll pull the 40 version. We're going to rename it. Once it pulls all our cards, we are going to just rename it Calling 30, because this is Calling 30. So now we need to remove cards. We don't need this to be a 40 card deck, so the first card that we pull is Renathal. We don't need Renathal. We don't need Mantle Shaper. We probably want all 6 of these. We maybe don't want Corridor Creeper, but it is nice to have. We do need these 2. We don't really need Nobleman. We do need Star Seeker. These are good. This is good. We want Khadgar. We now just have to start cutting things. Let's get rid of that. We don't want that. Audio Amplifier can go. Sphere we like. We'll save Sphere for now. Dry Scale Deputy is good, but maybe we don't need it. Greedy Partner can go. It is nice to have those. All right, so we need to drop 2 more cards. Arc Splitter gives us 2 cards in our hand, which is great. Imp gives us 2 cards in our hand. Also, those 2 cards are often pretty good because Fire Mage and Fire Warlock cards are decent. Nobleman lets us play a 2/3, maybe gives us a card we want. That's the one that's probably on the chopping block. Starscream we want, makes a bigger hand, gives us a coin. We got rid of one of our coin things, which had weight. The one we got rid of wasn't great. Dry Scale does give us more Conjurer's Calling, so I like that. This gives us more cards in our hand. This gives us more cards in our hand immediately on draw, and is also a taunt. It's nice to have taunts. Maybe we get rid of Creeper. I like having Creeper. I like having Character Artist because it's the only card. It's the only card we have that draws minions that we want. It's Nobleman. Goodbye, Nobleman. We don't. There's so many cards that it's just an even trade, and we don't need to worry about that. So this is our Calling 30. Let's give it a shot. Let's run it. This is still in the deck doctoring process. I still have the 40 card version, which obviously gives us more health. So we want to click on Calling 30. And we're going to give Calling 30 a shot. We'll see how we do with the 30 card version of Calling. And see if we've made this deck way worse or more consistent. Well, I will say that instantly our top deck is better. Because we have... So, normally I would keep Corridor Creeper. But because I have this, and I am going to pull a Corridor Creeper or a Goldshire Knoll or a Mountain Giant. Corridor Creeper can go. We have a spell. We have a card that gives us more cards to fill out our hands. We're going with this. Because on turn 4, we can play... Okay, now we have another artist. We have a second shot. If we don't... Because Corridor Creeper, we can't really play unless we have minions that die. So it's probably not actually a great draw for this. Khadgar is great. We haven't been able to see Khadgar. Khadgar rules because it just fills our board. It makes Conjurer's Calling like so great. If one of our 2 big minions survives another turn, we make it even better. All right, so let's give ourselves a coin. We are now increasing our hand and increasing decreasing the time it takes to play our cool shit. All right, and our opponent now has a coin. I think that's fine. I don't know what our opponent's doing here as far as their deck. We'll play this, give ourselves 2 cards in our hand. We have a nice big hand. We're playing this next. We're hoping for Mountain Giant or Goldshire Knoll. We will accept Corridor Creeper. Silence. That's a bummer. Here's the thing. On the one hand, that's a bummer because now we don't get any cards with this. On the other hand, oh, there you are. Finally, Star Scryer. On the other hand, they use that silence on a 3/2 and not a card that could do a lot of damage to them. All right, we did get Creeper. It will reduce in cost because they are going to hopefully clear this. We do have another shot at getting a better card there. Maybe we don't want Corridor Creeper because we have Character Artist. But, oh, and our hand is now fucking full. So when we draw this, we are going to, we might mill a card unless we play a coin. All right, so we did get the card we want. We do have that. We can play the next turn, so we can coin, and we can hero power, because now we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 cards. Great. So next turn, we don't even need to play the coin to play the Mountain Giant. All right, what do you got? So this is going to deal damage equal to this minion's attack to all minions. So it's going to do 5 damage to all our minions. So we don't want to play this before we kill this, which is fine. Let you kill that. You kill this. This is going to reduce that so we can play Corridor Creeper later. This costs 3. We also can weave in Khadgar next turn, if hopefully. But right now, bye-bye Mustache. Hello to other 8/8s. Mountain Giant is almost exclusively going to be pulling other giants. Okay, and now you're going to pull another minion. This is going to make another minion there, which is a 5/5. We're going to be doing more damage to that. It's only going to do damage to enemy minions. One of these is going to die. It's okay. So we're going to do this. It dies. I fucked up the order of this. I should have done this one first. Hey, everybody. I fucked up. So we are going to, instead of that, which was the right play, which I fucked up, we are going to do the other play, which is the other thing you can get, which is a 7/8. So we did fuck that up. And then we are going to play coin, because hopefully our opponent can't fully clear our board, so we can use the other calling. And we do have the backup of the Mustache Corridor Creeper. So I did fuck that up. This should have died first. It didn't die first. So it's on the board, which sucks. That was me fucking up. But we're also probably not going to win this anyway. We're doing what our deck's supposed to do. We did get to show off the Khadgar, which is awesome. I'm happy we got to do the Khadgar nonsense. I am now definitely considering getting rid of Corridor Creeper because I like the idea of controlling how to pull this out with the Character Artist. Okay, our opponent has silenced that. They have used both their silences. Now they can go face with the 5/5, I guess. I think that's all right. I'm not... It is a bummer to have this go. Khadgar rules. All right, and now they're going to be able to do a bunch of damage, and they're going to still kill Khadgar. Okay. And then they got this. All right, so whatever I end up doing, I want to kill this thing first. So we're going to take 3 damage to everything. I don't care about that. I could have swung in. That's fine. It's all right. This goes away. This goes away. This goes face. This is still a 12 drop. It's now 7 and 8. And it's an 8 and 7. Great. We have now used all of our Conjurer's Callings. If we cannot win with this board, we will probably concede because we have a lot of damage on board and no real follow-up. because we didn't use our dry scale deputy to make more copies. I didn't necessarily play the way I should have with this. Of course, our opponent has so many ways to bring things back, and they keep bringing back this fucking card, so now everything is going to take 3 damage. So what I need to do is, at the very least, swing in with this first. This is going to die, so I am going to take this out, because I don't care. Fuck you. This will go in here. These will take some damage. I can get 2 rush. I can do 3. That doesn't matter, so we'll do that. Finally got some damage in. Let's get another healing. Let's go there. We're not going to go super wide, but we are going to go wide enough. Let's also put this in so we get some more damage there. We might have pulled this off. We might do 8 and 2 instead of 7 and 3. I don't know. Let's see. Can we get a win with our calling deck? Can we actually get a win with our calling deck and with our first time playing the 30 card, which we deck doctored but didn't maybe. It's still working progress. Okay. So that died. They healed up. They are now going to take off at least 1 thing from my board, 2 things from my board. That's great because that gives us damage. They healed. They have 13. We can do some amount of damage to them. Let's just do some damage while we can do some damage. So I know we're doing all of that. We don't have the final 2 right now, but we can build a board. We're not going to do everything. We're just putting pressure. We're just putting a lot of pressure because they probably have at least 1 more board clear. I think they have like 1 more resurrect. They might have 2 more resurrect cards. If they can bring back the 3/7, we're dead. Okay, now they're going to heal even more. We do not have a way to silence that. They are going to eat 8 damage from us. Oh, unless we only need this to give us 1 spell that does 3 damage. Oh, give us it. We did it. We did it. And I got an achievement. I must ache you a question. I don't even know what that one is. We did it. We're 8 and 2. We won with this deck. Brand new deck doctored version of that deck. 8 and 2. Hell yeah. I am surprised that we won with that, but hell yeah. So let's see. Let's go look at our ill-gotten gains. This was destroy the enemy hero with a minion wearing a funny mustache. Okay. I won that because... Oh, we didn't do that. We used a spell? We did have a... Okay. We actually didn't do that one, but whatever. Sure. I'll take it, though. I'll take some achievement points. And then I unlocked this, which is cool. It's a gold version of that card, which I might not ever use. And because I had a regular version of it, I get to re-roll ill-gotten gains, indeed, Lashbrook. So now I get a deal $10 split among all minions. All minions. Not enemy minions, all minions. But it does lifesteal. Risk reward. And I get some gold. I now have 145 available. You can't see that because of the thing. Oh, somebody's subscription expired today. We are down 1 subscription from the start of the stream. I have -1 subscribers for the day. That's okay. It happens. Hopefully, it's somebody who will renew on Thursday when they come hang out while I work on this model kit and maybe finish it, but I don't think so. Okay, so we have some extras here. Let's see what the new cards are. We're going to hit new, which shows us the new cards that we have, which are these 2. And then we're going to hit extra, which shows us if we have any extra copies. We don't have any extra copies. We don't have any cards we need to craft. wind-up musician. And yeah, all right. So those are the new decks. I'm actually gonna move this. Give me it. There you go. I'm gonna move this with that because it's a wild. I like having my standards. My standard decks say standard, and they're at the top. My wild decks are in the middle, and then the bottom are the decks that I use, which are often wild that I use for completing random quests that need me to do like 20 of something. That are often show up as dailies or weeklies. But that is gonna do it for tonight's stream. But we're not done. We're just done with me. I'm done. But we are going to go on a raid because that is how we end every stream around here. We always end with a raid. We're going to find someone doing cool shit out there that we want to go spend some time with to support them. Because we got raided tonight, and it's only fair that we also go out on a raid. So, my friend Rara, the lovely, wonderful, talented Rara, has been streaming for 3 hours. She's doing a like IRL stream, but she's a VTuber. It's just chatting. I know that she was also experimenting with being on Twitch and Instagram live. I don't know if she is still on Instagram live as well. Thank you, Arist fan. Appreciate you being here. But we're gonna go hang out with Rara, who is again doing some nonsense, having a good time. I don't know if she's still on Instagram or not, but she is on Twitch. So we're going to go hang out with her. Feel free to come along. It's going to be fun. Come back Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, where I work on a cool model kit by putting some armor on it so that it becomes a big model kit. Thanks for being here, everybody. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.